Hello everyone. China is a country of world records. It has the largest population in the world, the longest sea bridge in the world, the highest sky train, and among those records, we cannot fail to mention the largest hydroelectric dam, the Three Gorges Dam. Having received a lot of criticism and controversy since it was still a design, the Three Gorges Dam was still started and became the largest dam project on the planet. So why has this dam received so much backlash from the scientific community? And does it really change the rotation speed of the Earth? Let's find out in today's story. The Three Gorges Dam is a giant hydroelectric project built in the Santouping area, Yishuang, Hubei province of China. The dam is located across the famous Yangtze River, the third longest river in the world. The Three Gorges Dam project began construction in 1994 and was completed in 2006. However, it was not until July 2012 that all parts of the dam were put into operation. And according to the official announcement, the Chinese government spent $25 billion to build this dam. However, many people believe that the cost of this project is much larger than the $25 billion figure. It could be up to $75 billion or even more. Note that this $75 billion figure excludes losses in the process of unusable agricultural land or resettlement, people, as well as environmental losses. The Three Gorges Dam is made of concrete and steel. The dam is 2,355 meters long, with a crest height of 185 meters above water level, and consists of 5 panels in the north and south. The project used a total of 27.2 million cubic meters of concrete, mainly for the dam wall, and 463,000 tons of steel. It should be noted that this amount of steel is enough to build 63 Eiffel Towers like in Paris, France. When talking about dams in terms of their scale, people often remember that these dams will have giant hydroelectric power plants. But what is also very, very important is that the Three Gorges Dam controls flooding on a river, the famous Yangtze River in China, as well as this dam plays an important role in China's water transport industry. First, let's learn about the role of the Three Gorges Dam for this country of 1 billion people. This is the largest hydroelectric power plant in the world. The Three Gorges Dam has 32 generators that operate continuously. Each machine weighs 6,000 tons. The Three Gorges power plant is enough to provide electricity to more than 60 million Chinese people. In 2020, the Three Gorges hydropower plant generated 111.8 billion kilowatt hours of electricity, breaking all electricity production records of other hydropower plants in the world. China says the high-quality green electricity generated by the Three Gorges power plant will be equivalent to saving 430 million tons of standard coal, and thus also reducing the emission of billions of tons of CO2 into the environment, bringing significant benefits in energy saving and emission reduction. In addition to providing electricity, the Three Gorges hydropower plant has generated more than $7.3 billion in revenue each year, of which $2.9 billion in profit. And this is expected to continue to increase every year. It is truly silver lining for the Chinese people. In recent years, that number has increased. The Three Gorges, in other words, is a Chinese money printing factory. The next important role is flood control. The Three Gorges Dam is used to protect millions of people from the periodic floods that plague the Yangtze River basin. Although its effectiveness in this regard is still debated to this day. The dam has a holding capacity of 22.15 billion cubic meters of water and a maximum storage capacity of 39.3 billion cubic meters. During normal floods, the Three Gorges Dam can completely control it. In the event of a major flood, flood prevention and storage measures would be implemented to reduce flooding downstream. Chinese media claim that the Three Gorges Dam could withstand the worst flood in 10,000 years. Years later, they reduced the number to 1,000 years. And then again, that number is only 100 years. Since 2020, the Yangtze River has suffered severe floods, and it is estimated that the Three Gorges Dam can hold back up to 60% of the floodwaters in the upper and middle reaches of the river. However, many scientists still assert that the Three Gorges Dam has no effect on flood prevention because the construction of the Three Gorges Dam also means another concept: cutting down a lot of forests in the Yangtze River basin and causing mudslides in natural lakes. The next important role of the Three Gorges Dam is in water transportation. To serve the movement of ships on the Yangtze River, Chinese engineers designed a special ship elevator system at the Three Gorges Dam. These special elevators are specialized structures capable of lifting ships weighing 3,000 tons to a height equivalent to a 40-story building in just 10 minutes. Previously, it took 3 hours to cross the dam, but now thanks to the ship elevator, the time has been shortened to only 40 minutes, and that's it. On average, the elevator helps 18 ships cross the Three Gorges Dam every day, and as of the end of August 2020, about 1,490 billion tons of goods have been transported through the Three Gorges Dam's ship-to-ship system. And now, like every other giant project in China, the Three Gorges Dam has created controversy. Since the announcement of this giant dam project, China has faced heavy backlash from scientists and environmental activists. Many experts believe that the dam will cause unpredictable consequences, including pollution, earthquakes, landslides, disruption of people's lives, destruction of historical sites and habitats of endangered animals. The biggest controversy surrounding the Three Gorges Dam is the extent of the damage the dam will cause to the environment. It is estimated that 70% of China's freshwater is polluted, and the dam could make it much worse. The dam sits on top of old waste treatment facilities and mining operations. You can think of these mining sites as being like the sludge that was already in a tank, and now we're going to fill it with water. It's like a giant Three Gorges reservoir where the dirt gets mineralized and dissolved. A good example is the torrential rains that caused the floods in 2010, which washed a huge amount of waste into the river. The amount of waste was so great that in some parts of the Yangtze River people could cross the river on garbage bridges. The dam has also caused a lot of disruption to people's lives, as about 1.4 million Chinese people have been displaced to make way for the Three Gorges Dam and its reservoir. The Chinese government is still moving people out of the area and plans to move hundreds of thousands more out of areas at risk of being affected by the Three Gorges Dam in the coming years. In addition, the dam has grown so large that it has threatened the ecosystem and habitat of 6,400 species of plants, 3,400 species of insects, 300 species of fish, and more than 500 species of vertebrates. Not only that, many cultural heritages around the Yangtze River have also been submerged. All that is left is the past. Now will be the most important question. Does the Three Gorges Dam change the rotation speed of the Earth? The Three Gorges Dam once again has to affirm that it is the world's largest hydroelectric dam in terms of total capacity after the project is completed. At its highest water level, the total flooded area of the dam is 632 square kilometers, and the amount of water contained in the Three Gorges Dam has a mass of up to 42 billion tons. The displacement of such a large volume of water will affect the rotation of the Earth due to a phenomenon called moment of inertia. In this, the inertia of a rotating solid object will correspond to its rotational motion. The greater the distance from the object to its rotational axis, the slower the object rotates. It is easy to understand, like a figure skater must press his arms closer to his body to reduce the moment of inertia if he wants to rotate faster. Similarly, a diver who wants to dive faster would choose a knee-hugging position. Pushing 42 billion tons of water 175 meters above sea level would increase the Earth's moment of inertia, thereby slowing down the Earth's rotation, although the effect would be extremely small. According to scientists from the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, the displacement of the above-mentioned large water column will lengthen the day by about 0.06 millimeters and cause the surface of the Earth to change slightly. These impacts will also cause the poles of the Earth to shift by a few centimeters. Researchers say this impact is not a cause for concern because the Earth's rotation changes regularly due to the influence of the Moon and earthquakes. The Moon's retreat from the Earth will cause a slight change in the planet's rotation. And if you're still wondering about the 0.06 millimeters extra day caused by the Three Gorges Dam, remember that the 2011 super earthquake in Japan added 2.68 seconds to a day on Earth. And finally, is the Three Gorges Dam as big as an atomic bomb hanging in the air? And what about the risk of a dam breaking? In recent years, as southern provinces in China have suffered horrific floods, the water level at the Three Gorges Dam has risen to alarming levels. Currently, many sources of information and satellite images show that many sections of this dam are deformed and forming unusual convexities. Some floodgates also show signs of water leakage, even though they have been closed. This has raised many concerns because the dam is unable to withstand the pressure of the water and may collapse. There have even been videos on social media simulating the catastrophic consequences if the Three Gorges Dam were to break. If the Three Gorges Dam were to break, the devastation would be even greater than any flood in China in recent decades, or even recent centuries. It would cause unimaginable human and economic damage. The collapse of the Three Gorges Dam would have the destructive power of a tsunami, enough to wipe out millions of acres of farmland before the harvest season could begin and could lead to a famine-like situation. Since it is also the world's largest hydroelectric power plant, the collapse of the dam would result in a massive power outage in China. However, all questions and hypotheses about the dam's collapse have been dismissed. The Chinese government insists that the Three Gorges Dam is still operating very well and is completely safe. However, there are still concerns and warnings from experts around the world about the fate of the largest dam project on the planet. And finally, despite the controversy, despite the warnings about the dam, China is still hatching projects to build hydroelectric dams larger than the Three Gorges Dam. It is a dam planned to be built under the foothills of the Himalayas in the Tibetan Autonomous Region. However, this project is still facing many difficulties and facing fierce opposition. So let's follow the fate of these two giant dams in the future. Thank you for your interest in following the story of the Three Gorges Dam, a giant dam that can change the rotation speed of the Earth. What impresses you about this dam built by China? Don't hesitate to leave your opinion in the comment section below. Thank you for your interest in following this story. If you find it interesting, you can hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share. Now, please don't say goodbye. Goodbye.